Hi, I'm Stephanie Woodside with Keller Williams Realty New Orleans. Here to talk about a single family home that I listed and sold in Raceland, Louisiana. So, the problem that my client needed solved was they needed to sell a property that I had sold to them 2 years prior. They purchased the property with the intent to flip it, and so they wanted to sell it now. So this particular property, the main feature for it was it had a really big lot. It was a smaller property, under 1,500 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. They redid the roof, um, they installed central air and heat because it didn't have central air and heat. They this is where they spent the money. They put floors in. The bones of the house, like the interior, was fine, but they needed to do some big ticket things. And those were the three big ticket things. They also did some plumbing. So we knew that the buyer was going to be a first time buyer. We went in with the intention of making sure that the house would fit the needs of a first time buyer who would not want to have to pay for those big ticket items. And so they did that. We marketed as such, as well as the fact that the back lot was almost an acre. And so it had a lot of land, which is not so common for that neighborhood. So that was a great feature. So we did a consultation in terms of what the market was doing. We listed the property. We looked at the neighboring sales was a big part of it because the market was really soft at the time. And so we wanted to make sure that we priced it in a way that it would get activity because we noticed that other properties were sitting. So we were very strategic in how we priced it, and we got an offer fairly quickly. I want to say maybe about 2 weeks. We were asking 165,000, and it actually closed at 169,000. And the property closed at 102% of the ask price, so the sellers were very happy. They're investors. They live in Texas, actually, and Raceland is where they grew up. So they've, completed this transaction and they're going to move on to doing another one. I had worked with these clients before, and they basically had purchased two properties and they needed to resell both of them. They purchased them with the intent to resell them. Well, another agent got in their ear on one of the properties, and they ended up listing it way too high. And ultimately, the property set. And when it did sell, it sold right at what I recommended initially. There was a big gap in between what I recommended and what they listed it at. And so there was a big gap in terms of what it sold for. So when it was time to sell this property, they came to me. They we had a very candid conversation, and they understood that I knew what I was talking about from the previous experience. And we put it on the market. It sold immediately. They were very happy. And I think the moral in the story for them and for myself is just because someone says a higher number, it doesn't necessarily mean it. There is data to back what someone's willing to pay for a property. And when a realtor is giving you those numbers, sometimes you got to believe them.